You don't think so? Now, I watched his trial where they said he was like, they asked him like, did you kill people? He's like, nah, I didn't kill nobody, but I hurt people that hurt me.
That right there was said in open court with a judge listening, not on a rap track or on social media. And the family member who got hurt was his own father. By the time you understand what his father actually did, you might start to see why this whole thing happened. You might even understand it. But understanding it is not the same as agreeing with what Brilan Brown decided to do next. Before we get into what happened on that street in Fort Worth on January 25, 2022, you need to understand who Brilan Brown was and where he came from, because none of this story makes sense without that foundation. Brilan Lamont Brown was born around 2001 in Fort Worth, Texas, and he grew up with his father, Kevin Brown Sr., known around the way as Big Kevin, until he was about 15 years old. Now, Big Kevin was not exactly living clean himself. Court records show he had no steady income, and during those early years, Brilan was right there beside him, doing things like changing the vehicle identification numbers on stolen cars to make those cars look legal. That is how early the exposure started, before this kid was even old enough to drive a car legally on a public road. At 15, Brilan was sent to the Texas Juvenile Justice Department for breaking into a vehicle and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Now, that could have just been another sad story about another young black kid in the system, but something happened inside that facility that would end up mattering a lot later.
I don't even play like that. Don't play with my name, because nigga, that shit'll get you know what I'm saying? Really. I don't even play like that. Lame ass nigga worrying about me when he should have been worrying about getting his change now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Chief Keef and Larice, them niggas did that. They just show the world that niggas ain't really living like how they say they live, you know what I'm saying? Same shit like with the shit with CJ, how he was talking about CJ, now look at him, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I don't know, bro, I can't just speak on that situation, but shit, nigga, like, you ain't cut like that, nigga.
First, he met a guy named Damon Cotton. And we will come back to Cotton because his role in this story is a big one. Second, Brilan started making music. His first song reportedly pulled in around 100,000 views and caught the attention of a music manager. For a kid locked up at 15, that felt like a door opening. He came out going by Crazy Boy Bray, and the music was actually moving in the Fort Worth underground rap scene. By 2020, he had connected with MO3, one of the most respected rappers to ever come out of Dallas, and they dropped a remix of You Feel Me together that ended up getting about 9 million views. His catalog was on Apple Music and Spotify, with tracks like No Flexin', Get Some Money, and Got a Question, all getting attention locally. There was something real there, genuinely. This kid had talent. But the streets do not let you just walk away, and by this point, Brilan had gone deep into gang life. He had been a documented member of the Rolling 60 Crips since at least April 2019, which was one of 38 Crip sets operating in Fort Worth at the time. He also helped start a subgroup called Brothers Over Everything out in the Lake Worth area, which law enforcement connected to a number of violent crimes. His social media made no effort to hide any of it, with posts saying things like "on 60" to show gang loyalty and direct threats toward people he believed had talked to police.
Talk to me, bud. We can discuss what's going on.
I don't want to talk.
You don't want to talk?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, already. The nigga had already how he feel. Stop playing, nigga.
Yeah, I'm just gonna talk to my lawyer. And I'm gonna talk to his lawyer. Okay. All right.
That video, flexing and talking about spending $45,000, was the image he was projecting to the world. But behind those videos, real charges were building up fast. In January 2020, while Brilan and his crew were hunting a rival rapper named Channel 5 J-Dub, they shot and killed Anjoan Eubanks, a 33-year-old mother who had absolutely nothing to do with any of it. On January 9th, 3 days after that, 17-year-old Cheyenne Moore was shot and killed the exact same way, another completely innocent person caught in crossfire while Brilan's people were out looking for someone else. When J-Dub himself eventually turned up dead, Brilan did not grieve. He dropped a diss track called Badass J-Dub Diss, mocking the death, and that song would later be played in a courtroom as evidence against him. By May 2021, Brilan was connected to the drive-by killing of Rashad Duty Johnson, and by January of that same year, he was already sitting in Tarrant County Jail on multiple warrants. He was 20 years old, locked up, watching his music slow down with nothing but time and his thoughts. And while he was sitting in that cell, word came to him about something his father had been doing on the outside, something that would set him off completely. To understand what set Brilan off, you first need to know about his older brother, Kevin Brown Jr., who everybody called Little Kevin. Little Kevin was Brilan's closest person. He was killed on January 19, 2016, during a robbery he was trying to commit. The person inside the house happened to be home when he should not have been, and Little Kevin did not make it out alive. A close friend of Brilan's later described in a video interview exactly how that death broke him.
When a nigga claim he your homie, he lying. You can't be trusting these niggas. Can't trust him at all. Especially when this nigga used to be your main nigga and you swear he had money, thought that he used to ball. Broke ass nigga, oh choke ass nigga. Go to jail, you the type to drop the soap ass nigga. I was watching everything you was doing.
Little Kevin had a son with a woman named Rebecca Shea Willis. She was his girl, the mother of his child, and after Little Kevin died, Shea remained connected to the Brown family. Now here is where everything gets twisted in a way that is genuinely hard to process. Starting in October 2017, more than a year after Little Kevin was buried, Shea Willis started a secret relationship with Big Kevin, Brilan's father, the grandfather of her own child. That relationship led to Shea getting pregnant and giving birth to a daughter. Picture what that family tree looks like now. This new baby was a half-sibling to Brilan and at the same time a half-sibling to Little Kevin's son, who was also her own nephew. By the time Brilan was locked up in Tarrant County Jail, already facing multiple homicide charges, Brilan began using the jail-issued tablet and phone system to build what would become a contract killing operation.
You know I'm gon' die about mine. I be getting hot, just laying back on the low. These niggas play with me, I swear you gon' get smoke. And I ain't never had nobody with me. And I always seem like motherfuckers pull me down or against me. Feel me?
Why they had to take my brothers? Now I'm stuck off in the rain. Yeah, they made a nigga suffer. Speak on their name, we slang them cutters. Got it out the mud, we in the.
He knew he could not say anything straight because jail calls get recorded and messages get logged, so he ran the whole thing in code. Guns were controllers, bullets were pieces, and the murder itself was the play. His father, standing outside at his own mailbox, was being called the African Monster, or the front door version. He reached out first to a woman named Kaylin Harris, asking her to find Diamond Cotton and confirm that Cotton had access to weapons and was willing to do the job. Cotton was the same person Brilan had met in juvenile detention years earlier, a 19-year-old Rolling 60 Crips associate that Brilan trusted. Over the weeks that followed, Brilan sent more than 75,000 messages through the jail tablet system, working through middlemen to keep himself at a distance from the direct instructions. The logistics came together piece by piece. On January 20th, 2022, Brilan messaged an associate named Jamar Corn Gibson about needing controllers. On January 23rd, he told his girlfriend Alexis Abiata to go to Academy Sports and buy bullets, the pieces that go in the controller, and bring them to Cotton. Surveillance footage confirmed that happened exactly as described. The day after that, Brilan arranged for another woman named Robin Rich to send Cotton's girlfriend, Ashlyn Durham, $25 through Cash App to cover the gas for the getaway car. By the morning of January 25, 2022, the messages coming out of that jail were direct. "Tell old boy we gotta do it today. Stick to the plan." And Cotton's own Instagram message to Durham that same morning confirmed he was ready. "I'm ready, I'm on that."
Yeah, all right now.
All right, pull up.
I look.
I know you really.
The setup itself was straightforward. Brilan needed his father to walk outside. So around 4:53 in the afternoon, Alexis Abeyta set up a three-way phone call between Brilan, calling from the jail line, and Big Kevin. On that call, Brilan told his father there was a package waiting at the mailbox for him. Jewelry, grills, chains, something worth stepping out to check on. Big Kevin believed it, got up and walked to the door. Kevin Brown Sr. was 47 years old and a father of 6, a man with no gang ties and no violent history worth speaking of. He was just a man who got a call from his son and stepped outside to check his mail. He was still on the phone when he walked down to the brick mailbox in front of his home in Fort Worth's South Side. Cotton and Durham had been parked across the street in a black Chrysler 200 for 11 to 12 minutes, sitting still and waiting. The car had a bent right quarter panel and a flat tire, damage that would eventually become very important to investigators. Cotton had a rifle in the back seat, fitted with a homemade casing catcher to stop shell casings from falling to the ground. When Big Kevin reached the mailbox, Cotton opened fire from the rear passenger window. The shot hit Kevin Brown Sr. in the head, causing brick pieces from the mailbox to fly across the yard. He fell into a pool of blood and died right there on the sidewalk in front of his home. Neighbors saw it happen, and surveillance cameras from nearby houses captured the sound of the shots and recorded the car driving away.
Still I been gone, these fuck niggas planet cause hell.
But wait, why they niggas ain't even going down to jail?
You was with this rap nigga, now you with this rap nigga, I don't know. Is you dick right? I can't tell.
Shh, load up, we finna go and slide.
No hurricane humble, but you gon' be the one who died. Promise mama when I come home, I'ma change, but I lied. I'm still in this bitch trying to catch me a body.
Wait, Grace, I thought you was done.
But fuck that, you must forgot this shit a hobby.
Yeah, they did.
Checking shit just like I'm Nike,
Like
no trying to
Nike.
fight, bitch, we got bodies on bodies. Let me pick one, pick who?
Shit, I'm talking about the one. They got the longest hair in this
Up the glitch, hit him
Don't
on stirring this
stir in
bitch.
this bitch.
Ain't no shooting in the air in this bitch.
Shay Willis was inside the house and ran out when she heard the gunfire. When officers arrived and pointed their body cameras at her, she told police that the man lying dead on the ground was her father, which was a lie told to hide who he actually was to her and why someone might have wanted him dead. While she was still on the scene, she could be heard yelling into her phone, "I don't know why he came outside." Big Kevin's grandmother, Deborah Ingram, got to the scene shortly after and told police almost immediately that this shooting was probably connected to her grandson, Brilan. When detectives first looked at the crime scene, they thought this might be gang retaliation against Brilan himself, given all the street beef they already knew he was involved in. That theory did not hold up for long. Handwritten letters from Damon Cotton to Brilan were found showing a personal, friendly connection between the two men, and that changed the entire direction of the investigation toward a paid killing rather than a random gang attack. Detective Michael Soanes began building the case from every angle available, pulling city surveillance footage, license plate reader records, Cash App transfers, jail call logs, and social media activity. The damaged Chrysler 200 showed up on city cameras and was traced to Durham's apartment at the Maxwell Apartments. When officers knocked on that door, Durham confessed to her role. She walked them through the entire plan, the money that had been promised to Cotton, somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000, though no one could confirm that was actually paid, and she told them she had smoked marijuana before the whole thing went down.
I said, I talked to men on the phone. Don't know if I still feel alone. I've been off for 5 years. Don't know if I really want to take it.
My little sis shed tears. She mad at me. I hope she make it.
Okay,
Read.
you're gonna have to slow down.
Okay.
I know you're trying to get into your deal, but the court report's gotta keep up with it.
Yes, sir. I said, I talked to me on the phone. I don't know if I still feel alone. I've been offered 5 years. Don't know if I really want to take it. My little sis shed tears because she mad at me. I hope she make it. I said that because after my sister told me my father had a baby with my brother baby mama, at first, when she told me that, I was mad. I couldn't accept it, but she couldn't accept it either, but she told me that.
So let me stop you there. What sister are you talking about?
Brilan Brown.
And Lawanda, does she have an Instagram handle that is IONNOO?
I don't know Tink Instagram, man.
You know. And so explain to the jury what you're talking about, that Lawanda was mad at you.
I said, my little sis shed tears. She mad at me. I hope she make it. She told me, when she told me, I was crying on the phone. And I started telling her, I can't accept that. I'm not accepting that little girl. And forgive me. I know it's a little girl, but I said, that little girl. Excuse my language, mama.
And so have you killed people?
Man, somebody try to kill me, I'm gonna kill them. Somebody hurt my family, I'm gonna kill them.
I'm asking you, have you killed someone?
Man, I never killed nobody in my life.
A search of Cotton's apartment turned up the rifle, an AR-style gun in the .223 caliber, along with the letters he had written to Brilan and his own identification. Ballistics tests could not rule it out as the murder weapon. A beta was also picked up and she cooperated. By October 2022, Brilan Brown was formally charged with his father's murder, even as he was already sitting in jail on other homicide cases. Prosecutors now had more than 75,000 tablet messages, Cash App records, surveillance footage, phone logs showing exactly when the three-way call happened and how long Big Kevin stood at that mailbox, and 2 accomplices ready to take the stand. Brilan's trial ran for 8 days in November 2023 in Tarrant County's 396th District Court, with Judge George Gallagher presiding. Prosecutors Katie Owens and Matt Rivers built their entire argument around Texas's law of parties, which is a legal rule that says if you planned, organized, or helped carry out a murder, you are just as responsible as the person who actually fired the gun, even if you were sitting in a jail cell when it happened. Abeta got on the stand and told the jury that months before the murder, Brilan had been calling his father grimy and had specifically told her that Big Kevin had gotten little Kevin's baby mama pregnant. Durham testified about driving the car, where they parked, how long they waited, what the plan was, and what Cotton had been promised. Detective Soanes walked the jury through the entire digital timeline, going message by message and transfer by transfer, showing exactly how Brilan had run this operation from inside a jail cell using coded language.
You don't think so? Now, I watched his trial where they said he was like, they asked him like, did you kill people? He's like, nah, I didn't kill nobody, but I hurt people that hurt me.
Then prosecutors played Brilan's music, his song Criticizing, which he recorded while in jail in November 2022, contained the line, "Rip KB, my father, for doing what he did," and another line that said, "Don't be mad at me, be mad at your pops for what he did." The prosecution's position was that those were not just song lyrics, they were Brilan himself spelling out his motive on a recording. The judge allowed them in. When Brilan took the stand during the punishment phase of the trial, he denied everything. He said he only found out about his father's relationship with Shay Willis after Big Kevin was already dead. He told the court he had become a Christian while in jail. He also confirmed he had turned down a 50-year plea deal, which means he had a chance to get out someday, and he chose to gamble on a trial instead. That gamble did not pay off. The jury came back with a guilty verdict. Because of his prior felony record, Brilan was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole, classified as a repeat offender. He was 22 years old when that sentence came down. Damon Cotton faced his own separate trial in March 2024. He did not take the stand, but the evidence presented at his trial was essentially the same as what had been used against Brilan, and the jury convicted him as well. He was sentenced to 65 years, with the possibility of parole after 32.5 years. Ashlyn Durham and Alexis Abieta both still have murder charges pending, though the fact that they cooperated with the prosecution will likely come into play when those cases are resolved. Brilan's legal team filed an appeal in 2023, raising 5 main issues. They argued that his rap lyrics had been wrongly allowed into evidence, that body camera footage should have been kept out, that social media records were not properly verified, that a FaceTime testimony was allowed when it should not have been, and that the overall evidence was not strong enough to convict someone who was physically inside a jail at the time of the murder. The Texas Second Court of Appeals went through every single argument and issued its decision on July 3, 2025. All 5 points were rejected. On the question of the rap lyrics, the court said Brilan had opened the door to that evidence himself by claiming on the stand that he had no motive. The court also found that even if some individual pieces of evidence had been questionable, the full body of proof was so overwhelming that no fair-minded jury would have decided differently. The life sentence stayed exactly where it was. As of early 2026, Brilan Brown is still in prison. His music is still on streaming platforms, but at this point it reads more like a record of what he was trying to build than a career that actually happened. What went down with Crazy Boy Bray is extreme, but the basic pattern of it, a young man deciding that a family betrayal gives him the right to order someone's death, has happened before, and it will happen again. A case that sits close to this one is the story of Sheldon Zero out of Houston, Texas. In 2016, Zero, who also moved in rap circles and had street affiliations, was convicted of ordering the killing of his own brother over a money dispute connected to their mother's estate after she passed away. Like Brilan, Zero did not commit the murder himself. He organized it from a distance using a network of associates and coded phone communication, and, like Brilan, the people he trusted to carry it out eventually flipped and testified against him in court. Zero was convicted and sentenced to life. The parallels are hard to ignore. 2 young men from rap culture, both convinced they had been wronged by someone inside their own family, both deciding that the only response was to have that person removed permanently, and both now spending the rest of their lives in a Texas prison because of it.
I don't even play like that. Don't play with my name, cause nigga, that shit'll get you, you know what I'm saying? Really. I don't even play like that. Lame ass nigga worrying about me when he should have been worrying about getting his change now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Chief Keef and Reach, them niggas did that. They just show the world that niggas ain't really living like how they say they live. You know what I'm saying? Same shit like with the shit with CJ, how he was talking about CJ. Now look at him, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I don't know, bro. I can't just speak on that situation, but shit, nigga, like, you ain't cut like that, nigga.
What this story leaves behind is something painful on every side. Big Kevin's own mother lost her son at the hands of her grandson. Shay Willis's 2 children are growing up without the man who was at the center of their home. And the secret that caused all of this did not even stay hidden long enough to protect anyone. Brilan Brown had music, had an audience, had a legitimate shot at building something real outside of all the street stuff, and he threw all of that away. The line in his own song says it plainly, "Don't be mad at me, be mad at your pops for what he did." He wrote that while he was already locked up, already knew what he had done, and he still sounded like a man who believed he had made the right call. Now he has a lifetime inside a Texas prison to think about whether that was true. What do you think about Brilan's actions? Let me know in the comments section. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.